Let's go bang, game kedua bang ya. 1-0 untuk TNC. Antilotnya mengacak-acak. Let's go, ini dia.
Back to what you were saying.
Hey, I was gonna say, you know, after the game
Langsung
we
rusuh
saw the
gitu loh.
Mambo play on the Gatakacha that was taken
MVP.
by him, MVP.
Selena
Now he's gonna
Lunox
play
di
the
mid.
Khalid. He had to burn the flicker early on, that's fine. But I'll tell you what, if he went like MVP status for whatever his KDA where he got the double on the Gatakacha, he can do it here with the Khalid. And if it's built the same way we saw in the previous series, oh, Kaloy, we might see that, man.
God, I think TNC just all huddled up and said, you
Apa
know what,
sano?
let's just live on their side of the job.
Air sana.
And this is, by the way, this all
Hey,
goes to
is
it's
this
a
number
debut.
17?
This is number 17. That's the Mamba pool.
I'm pretty sure that conversation happened between him and Ethermax like, hey, Bunak, you want to play this?
Do you want to? Yeah.
Ini dia equipmentnya.
Okay.
Let's do it, Cap.
All right.
Let's do it.
That's probably what happened with the health card too.
Granger langsung ke apa kayaknya itu.
All
Sky
let's do it,
Pierce.
coach. Yeah, but
Nggak
again,
mau dia pakai sepatu.
Chaknu is one of those players. You know, this whole discussion leading into this matchup alone was, you know, the old versus the new in a way. And I think you can't deny
YSS
that effect
sama
that Chaknu has.
Granger.
And that's something that, I mean, even the audience here, the
Lunox.
TNC Phoenix Army out here, you hear them chanting his names
That's right.
all the
Late
time,
game
even in the last,
bahaya
in
ini.
the last game.
We're talking about the only Hall of Legends inductee to not have an MPL championship under his belt.
3
Who's to
late
say it
game.
can't start here?
Hey,
Get that championship.
hey, if
Mampu
you're a
kah
Phoenix,
ini?
the only thing you can do is
TNC.
rise, and that is rising to the occasion. First hurdle up. Look at 3 Mark Chakno taking the back door over, compromising that front line. The Lunox coming in, but that's a little too much. Zaida can't catch a break.
Mati
Pulling
dong.
out that boat, taking down Kaloy. Lancy draws first blood. Lansu jumping on the Chakno, not able to stop him. It's a trade. First blood for the Turtle.
Yep. They get that first blood. That does go in the hands of Lancey too. That's great for a scaling mage like this Lunox that can pop off a ton of damage if given that the itemization, the timing on this power spike here. We're seeing the Lunox pop up more, and I know Hans mentioned this specifically in the draft. There's a flicker being burned
Flicker.
by Sean. But, you know, that's one of the things, that burst damage potential and also the ability to bait out these abilities or these ultimates even from Twisted Minds by utilizing that brilliance is what makes the Lunox still a pretty good pick. You know, it's one of those heroes that has
jadi
popped
untuk
up
Granger.
more towards the end of the regular
Tanpa
season.
sepatu
They
dia
got
loh.
3 heroes that can do that. The Lunox,
Yep.
the Khalid, you know, Flicker, Rampaging Sandstorm, Runaway, Quicksand Guard, or even the Hilda.
Hilda.
Flicker through, run into a bush. I can do it all over again.
And this is the map for that. The dangerous grass.
Yep.
man.
Extra ways to proc Hilda's passive. Looking at the item game, TNC up by about 200, 300 gold. It's a very
Enak
small
kali Selenanya ini loh.
advantage. But still,
Kalau
you have to
kena
consider,
arrow-nya.
Fremar isn't traditionally laning.
Oh,
Oh my
oh.
God, forcing out a brilliance
Gawat.
out.
Kena
Lancey.
dua.
Now look at this, they crash down on Ashan. They drop the Salmon Force and Chaknu here, surviving through the... Oh, not gonna survive through this. Lansu takes him down and they clap back on Lansu. Zaida
terlalu.
takes him. Kaloy barely gets away. Nosha covering fire. TNC, they get the winning trade.
Not only did the Mamba set things up with that flicker Raging Sandstorm, but then
Tank
even with the
tukar
Quicksand
XP
Guard, yeah,
loh.
he eventually went down, but he bought enough time for the rest of TNC to capitalize on that whole exchange. Again, it built up on a little extra 500 gold for them, but these kills are going to the right members here for TNC. For Twisted, they're getting so close. That fight, there was so many low health bars of TNC to take, but they just couldn't capitalize on those kills. So now, second turn of the game is up. MP has the ability to go ahead and start this up for them.
Mountain Shocker, Zaida knows exactly where everyone is. Benecuti and Lancey goes and takes that pixel brush. 3Mar flushing Lansu out of it. Now Zaida putting himself deep into the pit. What's Chaknu thinking?
He was there putting the pressure on Sean. He's going to go for them, but the arrow!
Hilang langsung.
God, Lancey taken out just like that. Now Zaida looking to take down this turtle. Wants his chance. Retribution on point. Chaknu dancing between 3, make that 4, gets popped by Kaloy. An AOG
Mati
making
dong,
sure
Zaida.
that Zaida stays, and
Kena
Zaida
Garut.
gets taken down. Double kill for Kaloy, and all 3Mar can do is run around the other side.
Look at all these bushes for me to run in. Man, Twisted, they took that Gatakacha. They showed TNC, hey, it feels good to have them now. 3Mar will go ahead and stop them from taking some more damage onto that mid turret. But MP is going to go ahead and take the orange buff. He'll get on out. It was a good attempt, but I will say this for Twisted, they go ahead and diminish that gold lead that was building up for TNC and now get themselves some confidence to go ahead and scale into this. You know, again, part of this whole
Kena
game
arrow
plan for them
langsung
is to
mati
play
tuh,
around
ya,
that
serius.
scaling of a Harith for Nasha. 3mar still just kind of scouting things out here, but that big problem is these arrows, man. They land on the right target. TNC, they gotta take care of the back line.
And what I'm sensing is 3mar's getting overloaded. All of these things that they have to do, Chakno and 3mar can't do by themselves. And they have to do all of those things the old-fashioned way. They have to run up to the targets, block these arrows, and flush out Twisted Minds from formation. All this while, TNC, we don't even know there's follow-through because you have to think about this. Benny's farming, Zaida's farming, hell, Lancey's farming.
Yeah. They're all just trying to get to that point where
Triple core lineup.
it is. It's expensive, man. And, you know, that's why, again, when you look at some of these objective angles that they're taking, it's, you know, let's try to cause some chaos on the back line of Twisted Minds, but then
Jebol
you
nggak ada
leave
orang.
your core members susceptible. And if they get hit by one of the arrows, then they're in a position where it's like, all right, it's almost an automatic kill because, you know, Chaknu and 3mar are off doing things on the back line. So that's something they have to watch out for here. But I think we're going to continue to see this. So Brilliance is going to be used. So Lancey will go ahead and use that up. But Chaknu, look at this. This is, again, this is what he likes to do. Regardless of what hero he's playing, this is how Chaknu plays this out. The last turtle of the game is going to come up here. Twisted has control of it. We'll see if TNC wants to contest.
Oh, they clap on the
Flicker.
3mar, flickers through, might have missed that brush, and will still survive. And now
Mati
deep underneath this Zaman Force, they get flushed out, Chaknu pushed out, taken down, Envy the King secures it. AOG, Zaida able to run away. Just in the nick of time, but there's not enough damage on him or Lancey to punish Kaloi. Twisted Minds get away with 2 out of 3.
Yep, they get that turtle. They're not going to be able to press in at that turret though. But look what's happening here. Again, this is these fights that are breaking out. But they're going in favor of Twisted.
Flicker langsung.
Have to burn the flicker, so we'll survive there. But this is the thing, you know, they just don't have enough damage to get through that front line. Twisted, that front line right now is a whole lot of Lansu, man. You know, on the Phobius, this is once again one of those heroes that we've seen do so well. 1v2, 1v3, he's able to go ahead and jump up, and then you throw in Kaloi on top of it. Yep. Kaloi, a lot of times, it's either the Revitalize or he just jumps forward
King.
to cut off that escape route of TNC.
Memimpin
And those
level
heroes in
12.
this comp are much easier to execute a team fight from compared to TNC who have to run around and
Harus
scramble
bertahan
for an
TNC-nya ke
advantageous
late game, bos.
position. It's very difficult to fight as TNC.
That's why I'm looking, you know, maybe
Gimana
that
menit
game
20
plan,
lah.
maybe that idea is for eventually
Kalau
Benny
nggak
Q. How many
Twisted
times have we seen the
gamingnya
Granger
error.
pop off in the late game? The same could be said for Harith, though, in a sense here. But this might be one of the moves for TNC. It is an expensive lineup. It does have time to build up. But if you get to the late game, dude, you have great damage, physical and magic in terms of the Granger and having that Lunox there. Plus, sprinkle a little bit of YSS.
That's what, 5 or 6 minutes that you're hoping Twisted Minds doesn't roll you over with.
Yeah, maybe 8.
Maybe. I'm trying to be optimistic, but with the way it's going, Zaida's doing the right thing. He's being very sneaky about this. He's hitting that turret, gets that cheeky push down bottom. Nothing Twisted Minds can do to stop it. And now it's making more sense what Chakra and 3mar are doing. They're just making these weird rotations to keep Twisted Minds honest.
Yeah.
So
Masih
they don't get a
seimbang
split
kan?
push
Boleh
of their own.
seimbang
Oh
lah.
my God, 3mar. See, wasting the time of 4 members.
Eventually, though, too, 3mar, I was going to say, he's going to be able to go ahead and tank up some of those arrows, some of that magic damage.
Harusnya
He
sih
just
Twisted
gets the
Gaming
radiant.
udah menguasai.
Yes,
It's working, though.
it is.
You see how there's no more gold lead?
Yeah.
It's about 400, 500. You can almost think they're at parity.
They are. And with this, the first Lord's going to be up, but Twisted, they know they've got to blitz this, but just around the corner is TNC.
Oh, Chaknu.
Free gitu. Dibalikin kah? Kena 3 dong.
Underneath the Zaman Force, down goes Chaknu. Nothing so far on the board for TNC as they blast away at Lansu. Lansu jumps onto them. Benny Cutie shoots him down a stack for the storm. And in comes Sean. Zaida. And not protect him. He falls alongside
Ente
Lancey.
dikingnya,
Trading
Bang.
out for Lansu and Sean. 2 for 3. Twisted Minds winning this trade.
Some major problems with that fight. Benny wasn't there for it. He was a little bit too late to the party. The Lord was secured. And then even so, You saw what happens when you got a lineup that is focused on causing chaos and being everywhere else. Your other members are susceptible. MP the King saw a path, he went on with the punctures, Phantom Execution, gets the kills, and that is a problem that TNC is gonna have to solve as this game goes on.
And you know how bad it is for TNC that they don't deal enough damage yet?
How bad?
MP the King is building a super bruiser Lancelot.
He is.
It has a brute force breastplate, so good luck chasing that with your cores.
You gotta chase that, man. Not only that, but you gotta watch out for those arrows. I love that we have an arrow count, by the way, thrown out there.
So what is that?
35%. Yeah.
1 in 3.
1 in 3.
1 in
Level
3
15.
hits. How many of those hits are lethal?
Yeah. And, you know, it's much more lethal, I'd say, towards that early game, but then when you kind of shift the focus over to mid to late game, you got to think, all right, how good are those arrows? You got to make them count when you do land them, but that's the thing. You know, if you land one on the right member here, like,
Dicoba dia main.
he's not the right member. He should
Tapi
be
tebal juga
tanking
itu.
those. But that's the thing. You know, how long can you kind of withstand that when the rest of your lineup's everywhere else?
Looking at the map, it's clear that TNC are struggling. 3mar once again in the front of all 5 members. Forces a few responses. They're doing their darndest to protect this tier to a pop.
Yeah, they're going to go ahead and hold on to it. Again, dancing around these arrows for now. But TNC, if we look at this, again, I think they're doing a pretty good job at damage control. Now, one of the main things, again, is Benny Cutie. I think if we see the next Lord fight break out in about 40 seconds, and he's there for the majority of the fight instead of being there towards the later portion, we're going to see that damage come into play here. He does pick up a Sea Halberd. You're going to lose his tier 2 turret, though, up top. But he's got some of the items that he needs to be a threat. You know, that's the main thing. And I think if he has the space to work with, now, again, it's one thing to
Begitu
have the
pun
space, and it's another
gua
to
bilang
be
beda 1.000
in a
doang.
position where you don't have to be so worried
Sekarang
about
beda
being
2.000.
picked off. That's the only problem I see here for Benny Cutie, is dealing with the pressure from Twisted.
Joseph, do you see this?
I see the graph.
Despite everything happening to TNC, Zyda is able to maintain a steady and close gold per minute rating to MP the King's 305 Lancelot.
Is that what, like, just YSS is able to do, though? Like,
I'd like to say more what Zyda's capable of doing.
just Zyda himself being different here. That might be a difference maker, especially when it comes to this. Again, the tools are there for them to contest this Lord. It's not one of those things where it's just an easy Lord for Twisted to take. This is also a big item pickup here for Chaknu. Does get the Athena Shield. 3mar picks up the Antique Karas. So these defensive items, as I was saying just about 6 minutes ago, is now coming into fruition. It's starting to come into play where it's like we have the defensiveness. We should be able to last against these fights a little bit longer, but Twisted is also
Kita
scaled
lihat
up
door
really
kedua
well
ini.
here. They're slowly taking this Lord. They're getting in position. This is going to be a full-on fight. They're utilizing the extra bushes they have here, too, on this map.
Oh, Chaknu knows that something is amiss in that little Y brush. Lord gets hard reset. Kaloy holding that pixel brush, looking for a taunt. 3mar gonna sidestep it. Both teams actually very conservative when it comes to this dance.
Yeah, this is a crucial one, I feel like, for them. 14-minute mark.
Uh-oh.
This will start it up.
I smell a blitz.
I don't know if they're going to blitz it here, man. I think they're still respecting what TNC can potentially do. They can also see that, hey, they're getting a little bit tankier. You know, 3mar, you see him when he takes an arrow, he just sits in the bush, he doesn't take
Zyda ya,
damage
di
from
rumput
this.
sana.
Again, that Radiant Armor and just the scaling really helped here.
Queen's Wings on MP. When was the last time you saw that many defensive items on a Lancelot?
I think he's got to be, man. He's got to be. You mentioned this earlier. Look at the build he's got going on. You know, he's got a little bit of that extra damage, even that true damage. But yeah, the Queen's Wings and then the brute force, a staple in most of these builds from the Lancelots. A little bit of that extra bruiser mentality here for this time around for MP. I think, you know, he felt, it's like, wait, game one, I was way too squishy on that Leo Martin. I got to be a little tankier here. But he's still got the moves on this Lancelot to work with.
He can get away with so much more.
He can. It's a lot more mobile, but man, this is a tough Lord to take. And part of it is the dangerous grass, man. It's
Siapa
giving
ini yang
that
tinggi
opportunity
kena
for
hero-nya
3mar
ini?
just to stay in there if he wants to. So Twisted is in a position where they can just wait this out.
Okay.
And delay it.
Interesting rotations by these junglers. Again, neither of them have to fully commit to it until the rest of the team agree to blitzing. So you'll see now there's more of a presence from Twisted Minds. They engage. That is MP the King with down about half health, forcing a
Karat
response.
MP the King-nya.
Three gonna go ahead top himself up. Oh my
Lah.
god!
Whoa.
A flicker
Mati Harit.
rampaging sandstorm onto Nosha, takes him out of the map just like that. Now it's a 5v4.
I'm so surprised they caught him out. They're still going to be going for the fight. 3 more, low enough, will survive. But now Benny, give him
Lunok siya memakan.
Shutting down MP, they send Kaloy away, but not before Lanzu falls, spinning his flicker as well, and just like that, in the snap of a finger, TNC take 3 plus a Lord for free.
What happened? It all started with
Bisa
Nosha.
mati Harit dari duluan.
I'm surprised he got picked off there in a position he shouldn't have been in.
I call that the Phoenix Flash.
The Phoenix Flash.
Justru itu
Out of
Harit
nowhere,
bang
they
yang
just
salah.
take 3 dudes down. I mean, they set it up.
Posisi
It was,
dia
it
di
was a
depan
minute or
kali.
2 of sheer conditioning and setting up from across the river all the way into
Dia
that.
nggak pakai free
You
fire
know what, the
masalahnya.
Phoenix Flash specifically is Chaknu's flicker sandstorm.
It is, man.
Pakai
And it
flicker
all
Rinyo.
because Nosha didn't even burn his flicker.
You thought you knew the Mamba?
You
Think
don't.
again.
You don't.
Ya masih bisa,
Man,
masih
what
menit
a
16.
turn of events.
Nah, menit
You gotta
20
remember
udah
how
nggak ada lagi
long they
gimana.
stayed around that lord too. It wasn't a blitz or anything. They took minutes. And now we get to that point. I said, hey man, I think they need 8 minutes. Well, they got 8 minutes, Leo.
Exactly on the dot, Joseph. They're following military time.
It's military time at this point. That lord making his way down bot. TNC just waiting for the moment to push down some of these turrets. They're going to make their way to go ahead and walk down this. That tier
Kalau
2 in the
Lunox
bottom
kena
going
masih ada
forward and
Granger sama
charge from
YSS.
the
Kalau
lord.
YSS kena masih ada
And
Granger
so now
sama
at this point,
Lunox.
Twisted facing
Ini
a
udah telat
pressure
ini
from
kayaknya.
every single side of the map. Every lane going to be pressured in here. They will keep the Lord there. They'll get a little bit of damage on this base turret. I don't think they're going to be able to do much but just clear out these minions. So far, so good.
Magic Sentry triggered by MP the King, so they know that the coast is clear, but it is anything but, because at 17 minutes, TNC are knocking on their doors, about to crack their way inside the base. A brilliance from Lancy, forcing a response from MP the King. Oh my god,
Nice.
takes out Lancy, but he's
Tapi
gonna
mati
pay
juga.
the iron price. No, he won't. He lives.
Wow.
MP the King lives.
Ditinggal,
MP the King.
nggak mau di bait.
Definitely feeling way
Kena
more
bait.
confident on this Lancelot than the Leomord in the last game. You can't do that on the Leomord. Finds Lance.
Karena Lancelot masih ada Immortal nanti, masih ada Winter, masih ada semua nanti
with a
dulu.
traditional Lancelot. He took
Kan
maybe
udah
2
full
or 3
item
hits
itu.
too much.
Yeah.
If he was
Lancelot
rocking
nih.
swords and blades. No, this man has a pair of demon wings and a full-on breastplate.
Imagine that as a Lancelot, by the way. He's built in.
He's a gladiator.
And he's got a gun. The Malefic Roar.
That's just in case.
That's just in case. That's a different timeline. You know,
Concealed carry. You put that away
put that away,
for a
mister.
rainy day.
Hey, he's MP the King. He's going to make it happen. But this is the thing. They defended against a strong push that should have been base turrets for TNC in most
Damage deal.
scenarios.
MP
They
the King
ah,
hold
mga
on to all their base
61.000.
turrets. Yeah, they
Right.
take considerable damage, but they put themselves in a position to go again for this next Lord coming up. You got to remember too, it was quite the dance. It was quite the extended fight for that Lord that they took. Now we're talking about a much beefier, evolved Lord that you have to deal with.
That's right.
This is going to be, I would say it's going to be more difficult for TNC to pull off what they did previously. 3mar is going to get some information. He's going to go ahead and get spotted out.
Literally just annoying these members of Twisted Minds, just giving
Menit
them too
19.
much stimuli to respond
Menit
properly.
20.
Man, Chaknu's trying to set up the same thing, by the way.
Gonna do it again.
From the same angle.
Hey,
Hey.
if Twisted Minds can go again, so can the Mamba.
So can the Mamba. I'll tell you what, it's Nosha holding on to this Lord. I hope Nosha doesn't get picked off again.
Nosha was his first victim.
He was.
I think it'd be very wise for Chaknu to try someone else.
To go a different route.
Maybe Sean.
Maybe Sean. I think at this point too, again, it's going to be different because just how, I guess, stronger this Lord is, and it's, you can't really kind of blitz it. You know, you got to take this one a little bit slower. And 3mar will always be on that backside, that dangerous bush right there, to be able to provide the information. They're holding it at half health.
Dicoba
Look
kah?
at Chaknu. We'll see which way he decides to go. Arrow lands on 3mar. They're going to force the fight
He's
here.
got
It
the
looks
conceal,
like.
he's got
Scarab
the
itu.
Sean. Lanzu falls first.
Flicker
Lancy
dia.
flickering back, and he finds Sean. Does not take him down just yet. Chaknu flickers away. Goes the hard way around. MP the King hits him with the
Tarik
retribution.
ulurnya itu
The
loh.
rest of
They
TNC
won't fight?
about to collapse back Three more trained on him. An arrow
Balikin dong.
by Sean.
Jeder, minggir semua.
Kaloy gets his immortality pop. The brilliance from Lancey. Look at MP. 3 more
Mati
goes
semua.
down. And Lancey and 3 more fall. So does
Ah,
Zyda.
rata.
The rest of TNC fall like
Ngapain
bricks, and
lagi,
it's
Lord?
just Chaknu left.
What a masterful fight for Twisted now. It's their turn to go and show
Ngapain lagi, Lord?
TNC that they can fight too.
30
Now
detik
with
itu
a
loh.
full force except Lansu, they'll charge the mid turret.
Chaknu's crashing into the waves. He is just buying
Satu sama bang ya.
time, but it's not going to be enough as the turret
KBI dong.
falls. Twisted Mind still has a couple of minions left alongside 3 members. Ladies and
Satu
gentlemen,
sama,
Twisted
GG.
Mind. Even the score.
Nice.
1-1.
Seru gitu bos.